Okay. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Excellent. Oh, good. So, we arrive at this Friday that is called Good. And when we look at the day and all that took place on this day, it seems that it was anything but good. I'm sure that you, like me, would do almost anything not to be embarrassed in front of others. Even today, as we are here, it's huge pressure. There's a congregation of people, many of whom I know. Some have been Christians for many years and have forgotten things I may never learn. There are pastors from other churches, men and women who have studied, who can dissect and understand Scripture, who are wonderful preachers. And Andrew from Northcross is here as well. But we want to put our best foot forward. So on this Friday that we call Good was a day that was designed, however, for maximum humiliation and then the death of Jesus. On this Friday that we call Good, it was the worst of days. I worry about misspeaking, but this day was designed to make a spectacle of the Son of God on multiple layers. So we pick up the details in our text after the sham of a trial that happened. We have some details, not all, but we have enough to give us a window to peer through to understand what was happening on this day. Before arriving at our text, we know that Jesus was whipped, tearing up his back. Then someone, and this was a strange thing to do, but then someone went out and got some thorns and took the time and effort into making it into a crown. I don't even like to pick roses. He did this on this Friday that we call Good. Jesus was then ordered to carry his own cross to the place where ultimately he would be nailed to it. It would not be long before the cross that Jesus had to carry would soon carry him. He was weak by this point, and I would imagine in some considerable pain. The cross would not be like the cross that we find in many churches, where care has been taken, where the sanding has been done, when varnish has been applied. It was an instrument of death, but not just death, slow, agonizing death. On this Friday that we call Good. It was a sort of death that was designed for someone who was guilty of a crime significant enough that it would warrant crucifixion. And it probably didn't hurt the Romans too much to have this healthy reminder that this is what happens to people who would defy the might of Rome. It's been written that the route from conviction to crucifixion was not the most direct one. Walk further, show more people, make the most of this spectacle. Passover meant that Jerusalem was full of visitors, which means that more eyes would see this event unfold. How serendipitous for Rome to have this opportunity to show what she did to even kings. Help is required, and it comes in the form of Simon of Cyrene. All the while, everybody knows that Jesus is dead man walking on this Friday that we call Good. They arrive at the place, and significant nails are used to keep him on the cross. Not too small, lest they don't hold him properly. Insults were hurled at him, and in this, his theology, his understanding of God, of himself, of his mission in this world, is all being challenged. This was a humiliating spectacle. As he hung there, don't imagine even that he was fully clothed. Roman executions and crucifixions were deliberately humiliating, stripping the condemned as part of that degradation. The nakedness was intentional. It compounded the shame, and it served as a public deterrent, all on this Friday that we call Good. We know they bartered for his cloak, and Jesus wasn't dead yet, but no one comes back from being hung on a cross. We might as well start today. Now, Luke records how they challenged him, saying, he saved others, let him save himself if he is God's Messiah, the chosen one. Then on a personal level, the insults continued to come. Initially, even those who hung on either side of him decided that a good use of their final hours, of the final gasps of breath that they would have, would be to mock Jesus on this Friday that we call good. Jesus scanned the skies, his eyes looking for hope for something else. But something else had happened on this day. He could not feel God. Then we have those chilling words that were spoken, no, screamed into the pungent air, coming no doubt with great effort, where Jesus scanned the skies and he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? All on this Friday that we call good. Creation seemed to understand the gravity of the situation more than some of the people. Darkness arrives, but not when it normally would. It comes early on this particular day. It's ushered in, signaling the magnitude of these moments that were being witnessed by some. And then the hours tick down to minutes, tick down to seconds, until we reach our final moment when the chest of Jesus would not fill with air anymore. His spirit is offered up, one last exhale, and his body slumped limp upon the cross. This was the day that humanity had the temerity to think that they could crucify the living God. All this on a Friday we call good. There are some Christian traditions that handle the church calendar better than others. And this period of Lent, which we're in now, is where things are given up, and we're encouraged to walk the steps and to feel the darkness of these moments, getting more deliberate and getting darker and more meaningful as we go. Slowly the darkness gets stronger and begins to dominate. And then we have this Friday that we call good. It allows us to think again of the horror of these hours. All of this together capturing an image of what the picture of sin actually is. Some say it was the Jews that killed Jesus. Some say it was the Romans that did it. But in truth, it was both of them, and it was you, and it was me. It was your sin and it was mine. It was our sin that caused the events on this Friday that we call good. This was a day that shows the horror story of your sin and mine and how it clouds us and keeps us from God. And in order to reflect and feel that on this Friday, this would be a good place to end. And yet, when I was at college, one of my favorite lecturers was an Anglican vicar. Her name was Joy Osgood. And one of the corrections that she used to make of me when I was reading the Old Testament, she said that I saw Jesus too readily and too quickly, that I needed to read the text within the context of the time. And she was, of course, right. So what I did was, when I was studying for my Old Testament exams, I was writing some essays, and I prepared an essay where in one of the paragraphs, I didn't mention Jesus, but what I did do was I wrote it in such a way that the first letter of every line began with the letter of his name. So it was J-E-S-U-S. And then I shaded it slightly so that even though his name wasn't mentioned, he was present there. And I face a similar problem now. You see, Good Friday was for sure a horror show, but I can't help but point us to Sunday, because we are Easter people. You see, Sunday, the horror show turned into something quite different. The sobbing now had given way to hallelujahs, and the tears of sorrow turned into tears of joy, and darkness to light, and death to life, and an occupied tomb into an unoccupied one. And all of this points to our Father in heaven accepting the sacrifice that Jesus made on our behalf. You see, the story doesn't end on this Friday that we call good, but continues to get told. It is told all around the world by all sorts of people, and lives continue to get impacted. The shadow of the cross reaches forward from generation to generation, from ours to the next. The power of salvation is not diminished as it travels through time. across borders or uttered in different languages, but is as relevant and powerful and present today as it has ever been. If we were in a black church in America, there would have been some hallelujahs and some amens, and things would have been uttered at that point. You see, it impacts generations, but more pertinently, it impacts individuals. It impacted me, and the question which then needs to be asked, of course, is, has it impacted you? If you are here today and you are not yet a follower of Jesus, but something is happening, your thoughts are running in a way they don't usually, the songs resounded deep within, the testimony resonated, this talk touched you, I would ask you to think again. Because it is not us, and it is not the music. It could be the call of the Spirit of God to the Spirit within you. So if you do not yet know Jesus, then make today your day. Speak to the person who's sitting next to you or anybody that you saw up on the stage, and they will happily tell you more about Jesus. Then, when you speak of this Friday, you too will call it good.